Blog Talk Radio.
Yo, what's up, world? It's badass thuggin' like I usually do, and you better turn it up, bust some speakers out, cause we off the motherfucking cuff. You dig how we do it? Dog Pound Gangsters 2000 and beyond. Blah.
Yo, check this out. This is your girl, Cola Vogue, and I'm chilling with my boys right here on Off the Cuff Radio. Cause we off the cuff right now. You dig?
Bet. What's up? It's your boy Lil Yap from UNLV, bragging up from the river, cooling with my homies and my family at Off the Cuff Radio. Y'all be sure to tune in on Fridays and get the latest scoop and find out what's happening. You heard me?
Tiffany Lavon.
And it's Queen Queasy, your girl's favorite bartender.
And we're from
Sex on the Rocks podcast.
Alright, you're now tuning in to Off the Cuff Radio.
Yeah, because they keep representing that world hip-hop. Yo, much love.
Alright. Y'all, this is Princess Daisy giving a shout out to King Eric and Off the Cuff Radio. Keep doing your thing, puppy.
Hey y'all, this is Stacey Lachey giving a shout out to King Eric and Off the Cuff Radio.
What's shaking, y'all? This is the Grand, one half of Lost Cause and 1/3 of that drive time thing. Sending my love to the homies over at Off the Cuff Radio. Tune in every Friday night for some real deal hip-hop conversation. These dudes are the connoisseurs of this thing. You already know what it is. BX Stand Up, HUD City, we're shaking. Peace.
Yo, this is Dope Fresh to Dine, and y'all tuned in to the most raw, uncut show on radio, the Guillotine Team, Off the Cuff, and yo, Eric, Sandman, off of these clowns' heads.
You put me through some things that I never thought I would ever go through. Breathe, go through. And I never thought I'd be let down and then act like that shit's all good. When it really ain't good, ask yourself where you're sleeping tonight. 'Cause it won't be with me, babe. Tired of thinking about you when you don't think about me, babe. Do you care at all, babe? Do you even go through withdrawals about me? Loyalty is all I need, and some of you can't provide my needs. What am I supposed to do when you tell me things and they're not the truth? I'm sick and tired of you. Pack your bag 'cause I'm through. No time for your bullshit. No time for being clueless. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving. No time for your bullshit. No time for being clueless. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving. time and not compete. I can take a look within myself to know that I'm a queen. It takes a real man to sweep a girl off her feet. We've been here for too long. Turn off and turn on. It's time to move on. You're right and I'm wrong. Ain't that what you want? Keep it 100. I'm tired of this game, so it's time to move on. No time for your bullshit. No time for being clueless. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving. No time for your bullshit. No time for being clueless. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving.
Yo, what's the deal, y'all? This your boy, King Ed the Great, a.k.a. Rick Capo, coming at y'all with another episode of Off the Cuff Radio after a brief hiatus. Episode 241 is underway. I got my man, T-Max with the facts. He's in the building right here.
Yeah, what it do? BA, 12-2 down, through and through.
I already know what time it is, man. We've been gone a week, so we got to hit them back with something else special.
Yeah, man. You know, Off the Cuff got the stuff, man. Sponsored by DaVinci Clothing and Buddy Boy Entertainment. And shout out to our co-hosts in spirit, El Artist Sandman and Lady Chinchilla, you know, who's still the illa. So we going to get it done tonight, King. So, King, tell our audience about our guest tonight.
I gotta let it be known. Tonight's guest is a special one. You've seen and heard her talents throughout the entertainment industry, from Parenthood, South Central, 227, and many other TV sitcoms. She was also a TV crush of mine, I might add. I just thought I'd put that out there while if she's listening.
Yeah, buddy.
So now she's out there promoting the new EP, which is fire, and she's restoring the feeling of what's lost in R&B. Let's put some respect on her name, and let's welcome Tasha Scott to the show, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, off the cuff, what it do, baby, what it do?
Round of ovation. We gotta get that round of applause going.
Yeah.
We've been gone for like a week, but we back now. Get that round of applause going.
Thank you.
Look, we.
That's right.
Yeah, crazy. I love it.
Like, God dang, that girl can sing. That girl good.
She real good.
What it do, y'all?
What it do?
What's going on? I know you cracked up when I improvised that intro a little bit. Yeah, you was a crush when I saw you on Parenthood.
I heard it. I had to just like kind of brush my shoulders off a little bit and smile. What y'all doing?
Man.
Oh my God, this is like amazing to be back on the radio talking to some lovely, handsome young man.
Well, look, sweetheart. We appreciate your aura of loveliness, presence on the radio waves tonight, man. So we really, really appreciate you.
Yes, yes.
So I mean, definitely, Miss Scott. So I mean, please tell us a little bit about yourself. How you started in the industry, because we got a lot to delve into. Yeah, man.
Well, yes.
We got a lot to delve into tonight. Go ahead.
Okay, well, yes. Well, as you know, that my name is Tasha Scott. I am a child star, but today's a superstar, as they call me now, the Moonchild. Wow, geez, like I have a long resume as far as like my acting ability. Like you said, some of them: A-Man, 227, Webster Throb, Star Search, South Central, Parenthood, Troop Beverly Hills, Kiss Shot. I mean, the resume is so long as far as my acting, and I was blessed to be able to work with a lot of wonderful people: Whoopi Goldberg, Shelley Long, Craig T. Nelson, Danny Glover. I mean, the list could go on as far as like the acting. I was able to be signed to Michael Jackson's record label, MJJ.
MJJ Records, yeah.
Yeah, MJJ Records, yes.
Yeah, that was matter of fact. That was.
Go ahead.
Back in the day.
Yeah, that was it. He had 7 artists on there, me being one, 3T, Brownstone, Minivision. It was a little crew of us. We was making our way through the 90s. Oh wow, like I've
you gotta let them
moving
know.
through the industry. I've just been moving through the industry, just right now trying to make my way back through this whole new generation that has kind of like did a full circle of like lovely music that's out there, poppin' music. I'm just getting my way back in there, because I got such a wonderful energy. I'm talented all around. I just want the world just to see me do my thing again, back on the big screen. And then, with my music, I just dropped an EP called Moonchild. I got 5 wonderful songs on there that I was able to co-write and produce. Wow, look at me. I'm just like saying all this and it's going through my mind like, girl, you the shit.
Hey, look, ain't nothing.
That's the kind of energy that I like, though. You coming in, you welcoming, gravitating energy. Because in the radio business, it's kind of foul sometimes. You know what I mean? Cats come in 40, 50 deep in the studio, smoked out. You don't know what kind of energy you're gonna get from them. You don't know if you ask the wrong question, you're gonna get your head knocked off. So you bringing welcoming energy is great. It makes us feel like you're part of it. It's like
yes, my energy is just all love. It's all about the universe, all about the moon, the stars, the flowers, the ambiance, the ohms.
look, we about.
I'm listening.
It's a live one. So tell us about this Moonchild EP you got going on.
Wow, like I said, I was able to co-write and produce. I just released it a few months ago on my own label called Zanaya Music Group. Shout out to Lamar Tribble. Shout out to Jara, Eben. That was been such a big help in helping me get it out. I want to shout out Vic and G Holla for jumping on the team right now, trying to help me promote this lovely EP. So right now I'm just promoting it. I'm here with y'all promoting it, so everybody can hear it. Go grab it, go cop it on all musical platforms right now. I mean, the girl Moonchild is doing a thing.
Definitely. Now, Ms. Tasha, in terms of your credentials and your achievements on the screen, big and small, I mean, it's definitely a who's who, as you read out, in terms of some of the legends you've got to work with, in terms of course, Troop Beverly Hills, of course, with Shelley Long, of course, with the Parenthood. Shout out to Tyrone Burton, a.k.a. TK. We had him, some months back. Great guest. We got a lot to delve into tonight because there's a lot of backstories behind a couple of those shows that you were on. And also, too, we want to talk to our audience as well. We want you to talk to our audience, too, about, in terms of getting into the industry from the film and the music side, the work that goes into it and, the politics that are so pervasive. For all our listeners out there, of course, it's Off the Cuff Radio, sponsored by Da Vinci Clothing and Buddy Boy Entertainment. Call number is 1-619-924-0703. We are on the air with the lovely, enthusiastic, energetic, and outrageously talented Tasha Scott. So, Miss Scott, tell us about where you from, where you born and raised.
Oh wow, I'm born and raised Louisville, Kentucky. 38, I always put it out there. 3878 Grady Building 62 from the projects. That's where I was born, and I
Louisville,
left there Louisville in the house.
Home of Muhammad Ali. Yes.
Yes. I left there when I was 10 years old and made my way all the way here to Los Angeles, California to pursue a singing career. And then I just got here and I took off running in this acting thing. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, everything that I was blessed to be on, I was able to showcase acting, singing, and dancing, and drama, comedy, a little action here and there. I just never thought that I would come from Louisville, Kentucky to be this strong actress that I am. And, I've just taken it under my wings. And, they say when you are gifted, you have many gifts that you have to find. So I've been finding a lot of my wonderful gifts along this road as in this show business thing, So that's where I'm from. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, now by the way of Los Angeles. California, living here in Los Angeles. So, now I call this home. This is home.
Yeah, look, you got that Cali drawl on you, girl. So we loving it. So you got that West Coast, like Charlie Murphy said, that West Coast aura. We synced it.
Oh yeah, it's there West Coast.
Yeah. So So in terms of your upon coming to Hollywood, a lot of people talk about how they want to be actresses and actors, but they really don't understand, in terms of what it really takes. I mean, in reference of getting the auditions, I mean, just trying out, of course. You ain't certified until you got your SAG card and everything. What was your trek like going in, and in terms of you, being able, from when you started out, getting those roles? How did that go for you in terms of getting with the casting directors and auditions and all of that?
Well, like you said, it's not easy. At the time, it really wasn't a walk in the park. I would go out and I would see a lot of beautiful young ladies at the time, and I didn't feel that I was worthy enough to even be sitting there because I had never had any training, as some of the young ladies said that they had, And then, of course, I was looking at them. They were so beautiful to me. They had pretty eyes, long hair, real fair skin, light-skinned. So, and then they had been in the game a long time. But I would go in and I would audition and stuff, and if I would go in and I would come out, and if I would get that second and third call back, then I knew it was something special about me. And then I started going and getting those second and third callbacks, and then I was walking out with scripts, and I was like, oh, it's something about, me. You know what I'm saying? And I know when I got signed with my agent, she just told me this. She said, there's something special about you, Tasha. And I said, well, what is it so special about me that that I need to be on the big screen, or I need to be in commercials? She said, it's something about your energy, your aura, and who you are. Just be yourself and let that shine on film and shine to the producers and the directors. And I was like, okay, I could do that. But trust me, it wasn't a walk in the park. You have to, when you want to be in this industry, as they call the industry, the music and all of that, and the acting and stuff, you have to dedicate yourself. It's called hard work dedication, and I know people have heard that. And you have to basically sleep, eat, and breathe it. It becomes your life. So, and that's what I did. I just said, you know what, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to sleep, eat, and breathe it, and I'm going to make my way through this industry, and I'm going to go as far as I can go.
Definitely.
Do you have any major influences?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, did you have any pursuing your musical journey, did you have any musical influences?
Oh, absolutely. Growing up, my first influence, my idol was Natalie Cole. And then it was from Natalie Cole to, of course, the late, great Michael Jackson, the late, great Natalie Cole, Patti LaBelle. Like when I was in Kentucky, when they would come in the city, my mama was on it. She had me there, backstage door, telling them, yo, you got to listen to my daughter. She's the next big star. And they were like, lady, yeah. When I opened up my mouth, they were like, whoa, she got the magic. She got something about her. Get her to Hollywood. She's destined to be a star if you just get her to Hollywood. So, yeah, I had a lot of influence, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Patti LaBelle, like all the greats. You see what I'm saying? So that was my era coming up. So, yeah, and then I actually met them in Kentucky and moved forward to here, Los Angeles. I was able to reconnect with those people, and actually work with those people. So, yeah, those are my influences.
Definitely.
They're
now,
great.
when you started making those Now, when you started making those connections in Hollywood, what was that like, being able to really, really connect with all the people that prior to you had just seen on TV or just heard, on the radio, and when you really, because one thing about Hollywood, we've talked to many an actor, actress, and artist on our show, and, we talk about how the business on one side is so great and how you do make a lot of great and lifelong friends, but how also, too, sometimes the business is hard and it's not how you think it'll be. It's just this magical carpet ride where, everything is just wine and roses. But what was it like really with the relationships that you were able to forge, with the aforementioned people that you met along the way?
It was actually, wonderful. After you meet them, you either starstruck or whatever. But, at the end of the day, when you want to be a true artist and have longevity, like I said, it takes hard work, dedication. Once all, the shaking of the hands and you getting down to the work, you got to work, because then they got to see, are you really about what you say you want to be about? You got to prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to prove yourself. So that's basically what I had to do. And I was able to work with Jeffrey Osborne and get on an album with him. I was able to work at Michael Jackson's studio in Encino for 6 months and record 7 songs. So that showed me right there, if I'm working with these people, it's something about me that I have that they're interested in. They're just not just saying, oh, she's cute. No, they're taking their time to work with me because they saw something in me. People like Billy Preston, wanting me to come and open up and sing this little, at that time I was probably like 14, 15, so it's a lot of, it takes a lot of proving to these people, because they're already in the positions that they're in to be able to walk alongside and work with these people,
Definitely. Now, tell us about your first casting in terms of your first major television show or motion picture, and what was that like in terms of the filming? Because a lot of people don't understand the grind that it takes in terms of filming, being on the set for like 12, 17 hours a day. What was that like?
Well, I would do a lot of special guest spots, on a lot of things. But now
right.
my major break was when I did South Central, because that was the first real TV series that I had that I was actually able to do 10 episodes. So I mean
right.
that was magical. When I went in to do the audition, as soon as I walked in there, Lorenz Tate was in there. And the crazy thing
right.
about that was we went to school together, me and his brother. So when I walked in there and I was like, yo, Renz, they was like, y'all know each other? I was like, yeah. So they was watching the chemistry between me and him. And, of course, the role was to play his little sister. And they thought that was magical. So, yeah, that was how that went. Went in there, knew who he was. And they was like, oh, wow, it's like a marriage. You know what I'm saying? They're great together. So, yeah, I got that. 8 hours. It was anywhere from an 8-hour to a 12-hour work day. And when you're on set, it's not like it's, it's not like people would think, oh, my God, that would be so fun. That's, no, it's work. It's like clocking. It's like you clock in at a regular job. It's work. You're up there, either you know your lines already, or you don't. It's like cut, stop, go. They got to move the camera around. They got to do certain things. It's work, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's just all fun and games. But the great thing about it is if you love it, then that's where it becomes fun. But it still works. So basically what everybody sees, they see all the finishing, all the finishing. But behind the scenes, yeah, it's a lot of work, And then that was like my first major thing was to get South Central. And it was just awesome, you know what I'm saying? It was like, wow, I made it. I got a series. I'm on a series. But you never make it, you just got to keep going, because there's always room to keep going to the top. And then after that, I ended up signing a record deal with Michael Jackson. And then I ended up doing, we're going to go back a little bit, because I think I was 15 when I had got my first featured film. My first featured film and only featured film was Troop Beverly Hills, because
with
prior
Shelley
to
Long,
that I had with Shelley Long, because prior to that I had been doing a lot of made-for-TV movies, like Kiss Shot with Whoopi Goldberg, and a lot of the 90s stars, Candace Cameron, Jaleel White, and then I was able to do Quantum Leap, stuff like that. But my Yes, like my major thing that was big for me was when I got South Central. That was like my first series, and then my first feature film was Troop Beverly Hills. But in between all of that, I was doing a lot of other different shows, and I was always a guest star, and I would always get no more than third billing, either third billing or second billing, or if I could get first billing, I was good. I was golden. I was golden.
Definitely. Now, Tasha, we wanted to talk about South Central for a second because, because on this show we always pride ourselves on always going in depth, never ratchet, but always sticking to the facts. And of course, South Central was pretty much somewhat of a playoff of the movie, of course, with Glenn Plummer that was released in 1994, and the show was excellent. But definitely for when that show was released, because it touched on a lot of real issues in the hood and whatnot. And when it was canceled, that really was like a crazy time because we were loving it. It's Shorty's coming up, so we were like, but during that time you came up, as you were making your ascent, because that show was really, to me, one of the most poignant and real depictions of hood life as, we knew it, and as we know, being in the hood ain't pretty.
Right.
What was it, in terms of when y'all were pretty much going for it, when you started appearing, did y'all have that meeting with the producers and the directors in terms of the direction that y'all pretty much settled into, okay, this is what we want to bring to the screen? And did y'all ever think that it might, some episodes, because there's one episode in particular that I do think probably kind of got a little bit, made them squirm a little bit, like that episode with Shadrach, where he ended up knocking down that girl, and then it turned out she was underage. And I know that was, but that was just reality. And reality ain't always pretty. But but when they did the production meeting and everything, what was pretty much when y'all started filming, what y'all were trying to go for it?
It was real. I never been in like any of the real production meetings of the whole situation. I just knew that they were bringing something real to TV that needed to be addressed. What was going on in the hood. And basically, I would say in any hood, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody has their own version of the hood, but it's basically almost the same. When you live in the project is the project. Or if you living as a single mother, I feel like if you're living as a single mom, you're struggling just like the next single mother. Trying to figure out how you're going to take care of your kids, how you're going to put them to school, their well-being, their health, all of those things. The thing of it was with that, I just felt like it was great. To me, it was great. And I thought that it could have been maybe 10 to 15 years ahead of its time, but
it was.
That's good. I felt like it was good to be 10 years, 15 years ahead of your time. Keep people on their toes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's what was going on at the time. Ralph Farquhar and the whole team over there, I feel like they was just like, they were 10 to 15, 20 years ahead of their time, and they was doing it. They was doing it, and it needed to be addressed. And what I heard during the show and some of the comments and the interviews we were getting, you guys are hitting on stuff that it shouldn't be done, or people were saying, that doesn't happen in the hood. Don't be afraid to be. I felt like they shouldn't have been afraid to be honest of what was happening in the hood, because first of all, it was educating us. It was educating us as Black people. It was educating the world of what actually goes on in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And what the things that we needed, to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? You got a single mom raising it was 3 kids and her son died from gangs. That was everybody, not everybody's story, but that was a lot of people's story in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like things like that needed to be addressed. I mean, we had the Huxtables. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why couldn't we show something that was actually really going on? You know what I'm saying? What was the world afraid of to see? You know, like when she whooped her child. As you notice the scene, the show where she whooped him, it wasn't the real thing sometimes that happens in the hood where you get a mom and she's whooping your ass and she's all upside your head. She was actually whooping him on his butt. She was being nice about it. You know what I'm saying? She was actually being nice about it. But those are real things that happen. You know, then she took in a child that was strung out from another mother that was probably a single mom that was in the hood that needed help. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Dion. But here you got another single mom helping another single mom with her situation. Like, you know, that's real. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You got Andre riding the bus and he's getting jacked just because he got a radio in his shoes. You know what I'm saying? That stuff, you know, that stuff was going on. That stuff was actually really happening, and it needed to be addressed to educate what was going on in the hood. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of kids that was dealing with that, and maybe if they saw it on TV, it would have helped them deal with their lives. And I feel like there's a lot of things that's going on today that some of those stories actually hold weight today. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
I think it's I think it's also a case where a lot of, at that time period, this came out like in the early part of the 90s.
Yeah.
And the stuff that was going on within Black America, it looked like a horror movie to white America, because they knew that they had to literally go in there and fix this problem, because, you know, they try to portray America as this solid picket fence. You reach your American dream, you get your goals, you make all types of money off capitalism. But when they start seeing different parts of life not really looking like that, it's a bad representative on behalf of America's smokescreen that they trying to present to the masses. So they like, nah, we got to ban this, or we got to clean this up. Now they putting this out there, we got to go out there and clean up the messes that we purposely made. So that's where it created that whole domino effect. All of a sudden, a lot of those shows started becoming like canceled, and you start seeing out-of-date preachers running over rap CDs. It was a crazy time in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a crazy time. They didn't want us to be able to address the truth. Because see, when you address the truth, you start to educate yourself. And you start to say, hey, it's something about me that I need to change, and I need to go back and change my community. I need to help my community, because if this is the way we are being portrayed, there's a lot of people that actually want to change things, and that's what it was. They probably didn't want us to change things, which things need to be changed. you know,
Tasha.
They came with police. We got to shut them up so that way we can keep that quiet. We got to keep these whoopers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy. It's crazy because with that show, of course, during that time, because during the 90s, you know, when we look during that, from that 90 to 90, you know, from that mid-90s era, it not only was your show such a star point, you know, you had shows like, you know, you had Rock. You know, of course, Patti LaBelle had her Out All Night. You know, you had Under One Roof with Joe Morton and Essence Atkins in '95. I mean, you had, and even The Different World, you know, was still running into the 90s. You know, there was this prevalence of black excellence on screen, and while we separate the man from, you know, the art, from the offenses, even with Bill Cosby with the Cosby Show, you know, that was showing black people in an upwardly mobile, you know, environment of education and stability. You know, this showed that we were more than just what the stereotypes of negativity that the media tried to paint us as. You know, And that was something that I think, was just, we're older, we're not old, but we tell the youngins today that era of entertainment, in terms of having that many predominantly black TV shows on television of substance, and not only that, were y'all an excellent show, but you also had some, I think some, some chicks you may have heard of them that went on to, do some pretty good things, like, Maya Campbell, Jennifer Lopez, Shar Jackson, they all made a stop in on the show, for a little bit, so y'all featured some, stars to be, and of course,
yes.
Lawrence, with what he was doing, he had just came off of his unbelievable, big screen debut.
Oh, yes.
In A Menace to Society as O-Dog. So, I mean,
as the elders say, what I feel, and as they said, and I feel, is we were basically bringing light and truth to our culture, and
right.
I feel like we were basically trying. They were trying to suppress us bringing the truth forward. You know what I'm saying? It's like any little, at that time, any little way that we could be educated, it was like don't allow them to be educated too much because we need to keep them right here. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I say this: you can never keep a leader down.
Definitely.
You just can't.
I remember when the Rock Show, Charles Dutton, when that show got canceled, and this was, he was on BET doing an interview, and you could see he was hurt behind it, because he said there was still a lot of things that they wanted to do on the show in terms of addressing issues. Because I mean, the situation, of course, shout out, to Clifton Thompson, the drug dealer, when Rock confronted, in the hood, and shout out to Tone Loc, for appearing on the show, but there was a lot of real things going on, and it's like, when we look at where we were then and where we are now, it's like, man, but definitely we commend y'all. We thank you so much for the contributions that all of you, for all of the old school black, black shows, we on Off the Cuff Radio salute you, and we thank you for everything you gave us in terms of nostalgia and showing us. And you were part of that distinguished alumni as well. Now, we're going to kick it up to the next. We're going to kick it over to the next question. MJJ Records, and this was more than just Michael Jackson starting his own label in terms of just riding off of his name. Jacko has some stuff up there. I mean, Men of Vision with that song Housekeeper. I mean, Quo. I mean, Brownstone. I mean, yourself. I mean, all of you were tremendous talents. What was that like, being able to just interact with Michael in terms of being on the label and just being part of it? And 3T, of course. We can't forget. What was that? That was 3T was that was Tremaine's. Was that Tremaine or Tito's kids?
Don't get me the same kids they was. There was one of the brothers' kids.
Yeah, we know it was a lot of. Yeah. But yeah.
Wow,
everybody on that label was talented. What was that like being there?
I have a story with that. I actually met face to face, physically met Michael Jackson, and I was 14. And it's a story that how I met him. I basically connected with Stevie Wonder, and Stevie Wonder introduced me to a lady by the name of Bonnie, who was at that time dating Michael Jackson's head security guard, which was Bill Bray. And they heard me sing. At this time, I was 14, and they asked me, they told me that we need to introduce you to Michael Jackson. Of course, I looked at him like, the Michael Jackson? They was like, yes, the Michael Jackson. So I was able to meet him at the age of 14, and I did, like I said, I did about 6 or 7 songs at the Encino home. I was able to spend the night at the home. I was able to sit down with him, and he gave me like words of wisdom, like stuff that, like, don't ever do anything that I'm uncomfortable with. Always stay humble. Always stay true to myself. You know, be polite and just keep your eye on the prize. You know, stuff like that. You know, and then I was able to meet Quincy Jones and his girls at the time. Then I forward myself when I was doing South Central, and the show got canceled. I was singing at the rap party. There was a young man there by the name of John O'Cohan. He was like, I want to introduce you to Jerry Greenberg. He works over at MJJ/Sony, and I was like, whoa, that's great, because I know Michael, you know what I'm saying? He's like, wow, small world, you know, type thing, you know, that's the Hollywood thing, the industry thing. So I was able to reconnect with Michael and get signed with MJJ, not even maybe, I want to say, a good maybe 2 months after meeting Jono. I was actually signed to MJJ, and I was there for about 2 years. I did a complete album, which it didn't get released, but I do have it in the can. I do have that album.
She got
and,
it.
yeah, you know.
That's a beautiful thing, because a lot of artists, unfortunately, with their records, you know, when they record for a label, and this is a testament, you know, because a lot of people try to say a lot about Michael, but, you know, the fact is, as far as we go, Michael is the man, and he's all good in the hood. You know,
Michael is a man, and he's all good in the hood, and I know maybe some people would probably want to know, I really don't speak on it, because my experience, he was great. He was great to me. He was great to me. Meeting him personally, you know, he was great. I mean, and at that, and I was like, you can't get no bigger than that. And then, as you know, I've always thought about it, he was a genius. He was a genius, and he kept his mind on his prize. That's what he told me. Keep your eye on the prize and go for it. Don't allow nobody to do something that you are uncomfortable with. You know, my surroundings with him, the man is great. He was great.
That's what it is.
Now, curiosity question I want to shoot at you about Mike now, about his voice and everything. You know, a lot of people, they would be like, man, what's up with my man's voice? It sound all soft, but yet when you get behind the scene, he talk like a regular person. Did you ever experience that?
He talked like a regular person, but that was his voice.
Thanks.
That was who he was. I mean, literally, that was who he was. I was in a comfortable situation with him. Basically, me, Kidada, and Rashida, you know, in his room watching movies, playing games, and all of that. You know, and I didn't feel that he had to be someone else when you're in the comfort of your own home and you're in your socks. You're in your socks and your long johns. You know what I'm saying? Why would you? I feel like, to me, it's like, why would you have to sit there and be somebody that you're not? That was who he was. He was very soft-spoken, and he was just a phenomenal person. He was phenomenal. Like, it was basically a surreal experience, you know, just to experience that. And there's not a lot of people that can say that they've had that experience. Great.
And when you say Rashida, you're talking about Rashida Jones, Quincy's daughter, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Now, in terms of it, because you were up close, a part of love Mike, you know, and me and King, you know, we talk about this on and off the air all the time in terms of being a label head. And how was it for Mike in terms of trying to manage a label along with his own career at the same time? Because, I mean, you know, Mike was still doing his thing in the 90s. So what was it like for him trying to juggle both? And did you see that the situations kind of, where you see how serious it is trying to balance the two.
Okay, me being honest, I never witnessed any of that. I only dealt with Jerry Greenberg, and he was he was basically to me, my understanding, he was basically the president of MJJ. Now, of course, Michael is the man, but Jerry Greenberg ran, to me, as what I was told, and who I dealt with was Jerry Greenberg and John O'Cohan, who was the A&R. So as far as me seeing how he did what he did, I never got a chance to see that. I never experienced it. He was basically, if Jerry went back and said this is what was going to happen, this is what's going to happen, if that's what they want, if that's how they feel, make sure you make the right connections and make it happen, Captain.
Right, because just in general, we talk about, because, like I said, and this is not only MJJ, because Michael, like I said, y'all had a stellar cast on that label. But when we look at a lot of labels, just like with Death Row, Bad Boy, so many, of course, Ice Cube when he started his heavyweight label back in the day, Lynch Mob Records. I mean, when you're looking at it, it's a lot. Mac 10, of course, with Who Banging. It's a lot that goes into it in terms of signing artists. Yeah, and just, making sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to in terms of the artist being in the studio and, just making sure that everybody's on their job doing what they're supposed to do.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I know that when I could honestly say when I felt like there was a shift in the label and things were, happening, I really can't tell you what was really going on. I just know that there was a shift going on, and they were trying to help the artists that they had transition over into other labels. And I do remember going through that because I was actually holding several meetings with, I want to say, Tone Loke's record label. Was that Tone Loke? I was actually holding meetings to try to get signed to his label, and Jerry was helping me with that, and Jono was helping me with that because, like I said, I was young. I was 24, but still just like, it was all new to me. But I guess at that time when the label was making its shift, and I guess that was to either keep going or not keep going, they were trying to find places for the artists to keep going, So
because that was on Delicious. Because that was on Delicious Vinyl. That's where Tone Loke was. That's what he was signed at the time.
Yes, you helping me out because I really didn't know.
Yeah, because Delicious Vinyl actually is based out of Los Angeles, and of course that was where a lot of brand new heavies, I believe, were actually on Delicious Vinyl. Of course, I mean, it's one of the, when you look at Delicious, they are definitely one of the labels in terms of an eclectic mix of hip hop, and dance. That pretty much they really, 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 of course, some of their notables are the Far Side. Of course, Master Ace was up there when he dropped the Sitting on Chrome album. They, of course, the brand new heavies with their fantastic debut in 1990 when they first came on. I mean, Mellow Man Ace, of course, the Wascals, that song Class Clown. I'm taking it way back. Of course, Young MC, Mr. Vegas, Jesse James, the dude who had that song Shook It Like a White Girl, Frank Nitt, Dom Kennedy, Def Jeff, KC Veggies. I mean, just man, I mean, they have a who's who of, people who are on there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's I mean, when, like I said, I was only signed for 2 years, and I did do a full album. I was able to work with the only people that I worked with on the label was Minivision, and we did a song called Joyride. and I was able to work with Minivision and Teddy Riley at the time.
Okay.
But as far as like, I didn't get a chance to work with 3T or Brownstones, but I did always see them, and we did do some performances together. I guess, if I say 2 years to some people, because you could say, oh, that was a long time. It didn't seem like it was a long time because everybody was basically trying to do their projects and get themselves out and make a name for themselves before they actually really branched off and really did something with the label mates. I didn't actually get a chance to actually record anything with Michael, but I was blessed at 14 to be able to record 6-7 songs at the studio, at his home studio.
Yeah, and you mentioned working with Teddy Riley as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned working with Teddy Riley as well, who definitely he worked with Michael as well. Of course, Teddy, of course, with the work he did with Guy, back in the day, when they did the Future album, and, of course, I believe it was Guy too, Teddy, definitely he is considered by many, he's considered by many to be the architect of what would become to be known as New Jack Swing. And I'm gonna hit y'all, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit our listeners with some trivia that y'all may not know in terms of, I'm gonna hit y'all this piece. Y'all know Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, It Takes Two.
Yeah.
Teddy was the man that produced that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Work,
Teddy
y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal man, a great producer, and he's it. Great.
And then here's the thing, though, and this was the time when you was working with Teddy. With anything Teddy touched, you was going platinum off the gate. Like this was at the time in the 90s where niggas could sneeze and they go platinum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
King,
that's what
we
you
thinking
call
about
great.
King, we thinking about Pootie.
Shoot, you could cough and go gold.
Even Pootie not even making no sound, and it's like, look, dudes want to have to make a sound.
Yo, you can literally wipe your nose and go gold the first week. That's how good it was in the 90s.
Yeah, it was. That, as they say, those were the golden years. That was it right there. The 90s,
Definitely.
Yeah, that's it.
Now,
you look at Billboard, you like, dang, who these niggas? They win gold? Who they?
Yeah.
Who these elder barge looking niggas? They win gold the first week. Who they?
Now, Tasha, you
but
came
check
along.
Hey, T-Man, check this out. I ain't mean to cut y'all off, but
go ahead,
our co-host submitted a question to us, Ella the Sandman, which is as well as his spirit. And he said, send Tasha my love. And he wants to know whatever happened to Kenny Blank for Parent here. It's like he just vanished.
Oh, no. Kenny is, from what I've last known of Kenny is a wonderful writer and producer. And I can't really go in depth, but Kenny did a lot of, your TV shows. I want to say, but I just don't want to be so wrong, but I want to say he did maybe Ellen's theme song. He did one of the theme songs for one of those long-running talk shows right now, and then back then, Kenny has that I've last known. He became the behind-the-scenes type man. He's back there making big money. Kenny is a wonderful writer and producer. Yes. And I believe he has probably dabbled in movies and TV and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Kenny's the man.
I did my Google search right now. It looks to me that Kenny is getting that Nickelodeon paper right there. He did as told by Ginger.
See You know what I'm saying? He's a behind the scenes man. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He ain't all in the videos.
Yeah, and a lot of times people got to understand too, in terms of it, because because it's definitely why we're talking about child actors. We also want to talk about the situations, in terms of where we see the transitions. Not in your case, of course, because you're doing quite well. But we look at a lot of these child actors, Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, Macaulay Culkin, Jamie Foxworth, just a lot of them who they start as youth, and then Kenny and yourself are doing well. But Hollywood is also a carnivorous beast that in terms of they're always looking for the next. And of course, Ricky Schroeder, in terms of where a lot of these, actors and actresses, they're typecast in certain roles from their most famous, shows, and they never are able or allowed to transition from that to, going to the next level, like Elizabeth Berkley from Showgirls. And a lot of people thought that was like that killed her career for a few years when she did that, because she was trying to go for that adult role.
Right.
In terms of your experience and what you've observed, how important is it, because you never know where the show is going to go, let alone how you're going to be identified in that particular role. What is your advice to any upcoming young men and women out there in terms of, making, preparing to go to that next level? Because not only do we see it, in film, we see it in music as well. We see artists like Chris Brown, who started when he was 16, and look at Chris now at 30, and he's like, just killing it, But then we look at artists like, Bow Wow, artists like ABC, another Bad Creation, The Boys, Perfect Gentleman. Matter of fact, I want to say with, what is it, King, and help me out on this. I believe Master Pike Miles, he was with the boy, was it The Boys of Perfect Gentleman that Master Pike Miles is, before he actually went on and started doing his own thing?
I would say this. You have to have a great team that has your best of interest.
Matter of fact, he was with Perfect Gentleman. Now that hits me, he was with Perfect Gentleman. He was with Perfect Gentleman back in the day. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. And you have to have a team that has your best of interest, and you have to know what you want, and you have to know how far you will go. Sometimes you got to really be careful when you say you'll do anything to get there, because some people do. They do anything to get there. So you have to know how far you'll go, and what basically what you will and will not do. And you have to also have the open mind that it may stop your career just a little bit, because there's always somebody new coming along to say, I respect what they said and what they will and will not do. It's always somebody new coming in the game. We're not young forever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So basically, having a good team, knowing exactly what it is that you want. It is a dog business. You just have to really have your head on straight. And I say now, today, if you got that good team, they have to be able to pray you through it. And you have to be able to pray yourself. You have to be able to pray yourself through it. And like Michael told me, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then it's not for you. That's just not for you. You know what I'm saying? So if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then don't do it. Then go with your first mind. It's basically like this. There's doors that's going to shut, and there's doors that's going to be open. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to make a choice. Are you going to go through that one, or are you going to go through this one. I've seen a lot of the stars that I came up with that have went on to do great things, and I've seen a lot of them. Yes, they fell by the wayside. You just got to have a really good team, really good protection around you. And most of the times when some of the artists that were coming out, their number one team was their mother.
Right.
The number one team was your mother. You know what I'm saying? And then then that's where it has to come into play, where mom also has to know who to pass the torch on to. You know what I'm saying? You just don't pass the torch. You don't pass the child on just to anybody. So that's where the mom or the dad, they have to be so equipped to know the business. I was just telling a young man yesterday, go back to reading this book of business. Read those books about the business because it will help you. And listen. You got to listen. Sometimes you just got to listen and not talk. And just take it all in, absorb it, and go home, pray about it, dream about it, talk about it with somebody. Just don't always jump into the first thing because it sounds right. And it may not be right.
And that's real shit you talking to, Tasha, because, a lot of people was trying to diss him. But Corey Feldman, he was talking about it, in terms of all the stuff he dealt with in terms of dealing with some of those Hollywood executives and how it wasn't, how, he was abused in terms of certain situations. And, of course, rest in peace to Corey Haim, who, passed away from drug abuse, from overdose. And a lot of people, see the glamour and glitz of everything. I mean, we look at Drew Barrymore, of course, who came from a family of distinguished actors and actresses, and Drew was, we got nothing but love for Drew up here, and Drew was wild when she was young. She'll tell you that herself, that she was wild. But when you get up in that circle, I think a lot of people really don't understand that this goes beyond race, this goes beyond gender. This is about you're dealing with adults that don't always act like responsible adults, and these are a lot of times people who are, I don't want to get too pointed, get on a soapbox, but some are predators who see these kids in an opportunity to prey on, which is why, like you said, we have to pray for our babies and protect them to make sure that they are safe, because, it's a lot that goes on.
It's a lot that goes on. It's basically like you walk in a candy store, and if you walk in a candy store and they say you can have anything you want, are you actually going to go and just grab anything you want?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And, even when you're in the grocery store and you got your kid, there, and you say, oh, you can have anything you want. What do you normally see that kid do? They start thinking.
Because it's sensory
over. About what they're gonna pick up. You see what I'm saying? So when you're in this industry, you got everything laid out for you. Basically, is you can have anything you want. What is it that you want? So basically, you got to make the right choice because everything is not good.
Definitely. Now, in terms of speaking on your musical endeavors, because in addition to you being, like I said earlier, distinguished alumni of some of the most important television shows depicting the black culture in a positive way and in a real way during the 90s, we also had some of the best R&B and hip-hop during that time as well. And you were right up in the midst of that in terms of people you were around with Michael, of course, with Teddy, of course, with the group, all the people you interacted with, of course, being with Stevie during the time because he was still active when he did Conversation Piece in 95, which is one of his most slept on yet brilliant albums. When you look, where in terms of where you are now in terms of the music that you're doing and what you were coming up as you were still, doing your music in the 90s, where did the shift come in terms of where we were then and what it's gotten to now? What happened from your perspective as an artist?
I look at the change to me that I saw, and people may say, oh, no, that's not where it happened. But looking at my life and where I saw the change started to happen was when Chris Brown and Rihanna came out. That's when I feel like, to me, R&B started to take its turn. But what they were doing was magical. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa, it's a new sound coming in, and it's great. You know, I didn't see the music changing the way it has. But, you know, everything has to change. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not living in the Frank Sinatra days. You know what I'm saying? Music has changed from them days to your Luthers and to your baby faces and your Michaels, to now you got your Chris and your Rihanna, and now you got your Cardi B's and all that. Music changed, and it has to change. You know what I'm saying? And that's good. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing. Me, I am open for change. I love change. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm out here trying to compete with all the new generation, because I'm always sound like me, and there could be things that I can kind of tweak with my music, which is okay. But if you're going to be in the industry, you got to be open for change. You know, if you always want to keep evolving, you know what I'm saying, you have to be open for change and don't be afraid of it. I love how Charlie Wilson has he's always out there, because he's always changing with the music, and it sounds good. It holds weight today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like this. If I know that I have to change something a little bit, I'm gonna do it. I'm open for change. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you want to be on any type of top 10, top 20. You know what I'm saying? You have to be open for change. Other than that, you'll just be making music for your core fans just to listen to, which is fine if you have your support and they're going to buy it and it's still paying the rent. But if you want to be on, the charts, you have to be open to change with the music, because the music is going to change. It's going to change in another 5 to 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Our kids are going to be like, oh my God, that's old, and we're going to be a whole new wave of sound. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way it goes. And so I feel like you can't down the music. You know what I'm saying? This is just what it is. This is the change. Now, we could be a little bit more discreet maybe on some of the, the things that we present and how we say it. Because, when we were coming up, we were singing stuff, or we were listening to stuff, and it was very hidden, you know what I'm saying? But nowadays it's just out there. But that's just what it is. We have to educate our kids on music and what they see, and we just have to be open for change and just be smart about what we are listening to and what we put out. That's just my thing. I'm all for change, and I love the music today. I absolutely love it.
I think it's also a case of where economics also changes music, because that's what controls everything. Like, if you look at the 90s, you knew niggas was getting money when Puffy was out. He had more money, more problems. They were dancing in shiny suits and pouring champagne. And even with Babyface had music like, I'll pay your rent, I'll buy your car. These cats can't do that no more. It all triggers the economics now. They could afford to turn up and pop a pill, but they can't pay their ladies' rent.
Right.
And the only way, and I get what you're saying, but only time we're very critical is when cats start getting on the mic and they start sounding like this. We got to clown a little bit.
Yeah.
Look, only the names are not
like
guilty. Only the names are not guilty.
it on the radio. What did you say? Come again?
They got to come with subtitles.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, how you going to have music with a disclaimer these days? Because it used to be parental advisory stickers. Now it's coming with disclaimers.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, we just got to be, more smart about the music. I just feel like this: if you love your child and you love the youth and the generation, just be more mindful of how we are approaching the music. You know what I'm saying? But it's always a way. It's always a way to do it. Like Babyface said, I'll pay your rent. I'll buy your clothes. I'll cook your dinner too. You know what I'm saying?
We can't even cook these days. It's strictly Mickey D's off the first. They're like, yo, we take. Like, nah, shorty, we taking you to Popeyes first time in. We ain't fixing no dinner.
Look, ain't no Ruth Chris.
This is true. Y'all crazy.
It all equals the economics, because economic at that time, man, the 90s, it was booming. Like, he was able to get access to $1 million studios like that.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Spitting Cristal, the camera, like they spitting money, like you online saying that money was crazy back then.
See how that hypnotized video with Biggie and Puffy on the speedboat spitting out Chris? Dude, man, come on.
Yes.
Mermaids in the
we
fish
like,
tank.
yo.
That was
the videos had that Michael Bay production as well. It was crazy. Even
the panoramic big
that's out now.
screen.
Wu-Tang had the $2 billion video with Triumph.
Yes. Well, that also had a lot to do with the labels. You know what I'm saying?
The labels were giving the money for it.
The labels were giving the money for that, and the labels were also, I feel like, in the mind frame of longevity. They were looking for the artists that had that magical thing that have longevity. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just like it's not about the labels really having the money. They probably got it, but now it's all about social media and your numbers and what can you pull in. Then we'll give you a little something, but basically you're already doing it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Chance the Rapper, man. Jeez, my hat's off to that man. Jeez. It's a lot of people out there now doing it independently, and I'm even getting like independent is where it is. I just gotta hustle a little harder. But hey, I'm a hustle a little harder because now I can keep my own paper. You know what I'm saying? I can use my own ideas and I can be creative, and it's not like I have to basically do what they tell me to do on my first album and all this. No, they want to see how creative you can be now, how you can actually be involved with the fans and draw them in, and you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say now you really, really, really got to educate yourself on the industry now, because now it's all you, basically. You may have a team, but you're giving them all your ideas and what you want to do and how you want to do it. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it.
Explain to them the works that come in. Explain to them the works that comes in with working independent, because you know how when people go through label spouts, fans looking from the outside in, they always say, well, they should just do it independent. But it's easier said than done if you don't really have that base.
If you really don't have the base, it is not that easy. It's not, It's a lot of hard work that comes with that. Like I always say this, no, I don't have that strong team right now, but I am building that team. But I say this, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm doing a lot of my own work. Like I sit every day. I'm Instagramming and I'm Facebooking and I'm building me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing that right now until I can actually put those people in place to do that. So
right.
and that's crazy. That's what I feel like these major labels are looking at. Are they a hard worker? Do they stay persistent? Hey, then this is somebody we can invest our money into. First of all, they already did have to work.
Tasha, it's funny you say that because we talk about that on the show all the time about because a lot of people forget, and I'm going to take our listeners on a bit of a, quick history lesson with it. Because when, of course, the cop killer fiasco, with Ice-T, Warner Brothers, what happened with that pretty much led him to not want to deal with major labels anymore, which he went to a independent label called Atomic Pop Records that back in the day was strictly online. Now, you got to remember, back in the day when he did Home, I want to say, I can't remember which album it was. I think it was Home Invasion. I could be wrong. But I do believe that was an album that get released independently. Yeah, it was Home Invasion on Atomic Pop, and at the time, this is before the internet was what it was, because you could only really get that through online in terms of mail order. So what we're looking at now is during the 90s, before that revolution came, because back in the day, there have always been independents in hip-hop, but to really be able, like you said and like King said, to do it, you really had to have a fan base in order to really be able to tap into that market because, we have a lot of dope artists out here right now that are doing it in the piece. Shout out to, Styles P, Cormega, MF Doom, Young Dolph. Well, I take that back. And no disrespect to Young Dolph at all, but I think Dolph did say that he did have some major label arrangements. Of course, with Chance the Rapper, a lot of these artists right here are doing it from a perspective of, and of course, E40. E40, people forget. Jive, Jive Records is just their distributor, but E40, through Sick With It, he basically runs his own label. He just has Jive for his distribution. Of course, with Mozzie Records up in Sacramento. Shout out to the 916 with Mozzie doing his thing. We see you, King. And Mozzie has his own label, where he puts out his own music. And it's it is very lucrative. I tell any artist, just from, my modest, knowledge of it, it's great because, as you said, the money you get comes to you directly because it's not going through so many hands. But in terms of that entrepreneurship and self-sufficiency, I always tell artists, don't let your Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter numbers gas you to where it explodes in your face in terms of what you think you have and what it actually is.
Yes.
Yes. Because a lot of artists, and we are never on Off the Cuff Radio, we're always about being candid, but we're never about trying to chastise or castrate anybody because we got love for the independents. We're independent, and we know what it's like, trying to do what we do. But we also tell artists out here, you need to have a realistic understanding of where your base is and stop trying to manufacture shit on the gram, on social media like you live it and you really not. Because sooner or later, people are really going to question, are you really doing it like you say you doing it? Can you do a show in your hometown and can you sell it out?
Exactly.
You put it, anything you want to add on, please. I'm just speaking, but please, add on anything.
Yeah. This is You got to be able to and I do. I mean, honestly, I do kind of sit here and say, you could push that button, and you got 60 seconds. And now, of course, they're giving you a little bit more time. But can you take that on the road? Can you sell out? Can you hold that audience, a live audience that now you can't turn off their opinions? You know what I'm saying? You can't turn
Right.
off their applause. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, I'm glad that I came up in the era that I did, because I know about, working 8 hours and 12 hours a day. We didn't have people right there at our fingertips that can like. No, we had to hard work, dedication to get these people to say, wow, they're great, they're this. Because if you can't hold it, this is not for you. This industry is not for you. Or you get slapped in the face and you have to go back and figure out how to do it. But then while you're figuring out how to do it, guess what? That person that's been sitting there doing this for 8 hours and 12 hours and they've been doing their homework, those are the ones that you look to. They get ready to come up and they get ready to be longevity.
I'm going to tell you.
I'm back, guys. What I missed? What y'all talking about? What y'all building on? What y'all dialoguing? I had to jump back in the cycle real quick. What's going on?
We were talking about independence. Now I'm gonna tell you, I saw a couple of years ago, and he's doing his thing out in Compton. Shout out to my man Compton AV. Crack related. I mean, the boy is killing it out there. He did a spot on BET soundstage. I believe it wasn't the main stage, but he, of course, they have the acts out there that that they bring in, for keeping everybody, keeping the crowd live. And he had that song called Money. So they had a videographer because they videotaped it. This dude came out here. It's like, and he's not even out there like that on a national level, but on the West Coast, he's got a name. And he went out there, and the crowd was going nutty. And I mean, they started singing, man, I mean, the first line, let me tell you a little something about me. I'm a young fly nigga out the CPT. I go hard. Bitch, only thing on my mind is getting rich, like, run me my money. I'm like, yo, I did. And I was like, and that's the definition of, grind, hustle, tenacity, perseverance, and just believing in yourself, because, and that's something that when you really, as you said, and the thing is, social media has enabled us to be in contact with such lovely people as yourself and others who have graced, our show, which we're so grateful for, So we love social media. We don't love everything that goes on in social media in terms of how people think a lot of times we've seen that, social media is a substitute for hard work. And there is no hard work, necessary. But I've always heard this saying, and I've never forgot it. Hard work doesn't guarantee success, but you can't have success without hard work.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yep.
And they want to showcase that second part easily because they figure, hey, we'll just go ahead, we'll just crush some Tylenol pills, sniff it, and we're gonna go viral.
Look, wear a wedding dress and put a gun in your mouth.
Once I go viral with this, and if I survive after 24 hours, we're going to go in the studio and make a hit record. We're going to capitalize off this hype. That's the new way they're doing right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, the way y'all moving, I'm like, nah, that's y'all. Y'all move that way.
Yeah.
The crowd is perfect.
To me, that's that quick, overnight success, but it really doesn't last that long. It don't. You got to pay some dues. And like I always say, I'm not the biggest of the stars, but I've paid some dues as far as like what I've done. I started out at 5, I went professional at 8, singing in hole in the walls, meeting all these great people. I'm singing at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. I have to get up at 8 o'clock and go to school, carrying 2 backpacks. I'm sleeping on the floor, and I'm sitting here, my mom trying to wake me up. Come on, baby, time to sing. time to sing. And here it is. It's 3:30. It's 3:30, and I'm doing 10 songs at 10.
Man.
That's paying some dues. Like, I paid some dues. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't really see that. But, I've paid some dues, baby.
And,
I think also another part of not paying dues is people, they forgot the art of the live performance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you coming up, your live performance game had to be on point. You couldn't just sing in the studio.
Hello?
You couldn't sing in the studio. You couldn't sing in the studio. You had to go out there and really bring a show. Sometimes a lot of people, they're not really doing it sound good in the studio, but yet they'll rock the crowd, and that automatically make the song bubble. But people these days, they either have, anxiety, performance anxiety, or they're scared, or they're just damn like lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where that 8 hours, 12 hours or more, come in. And you can see the longevity, people. You can see it, you can hear it, and you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my hat's off to the late great Michael Jackson. He that man was dedicated. He worked hard.
Oh yeah.
Janet Jackson worked hard. I look at Beyonce now. She's really starting to put a lot of her behind the scenes things out there. That woman worked hard. You know what I'm saying?
They said Beyonce
really working hard.
They said Beyonce will rehearse for 8 months before she actually gets her tour shows out there.
Exactly. Yeah. That's longevity. You know that you're gonna have longevity when you're dedicated like that. You got to be so dedicated and so passionate. And
I think also, and it's something too, Miss Scott, because that's something when you that type of situation because
Did you just call me Miss Scott? I'm about to come through the phone now. I'm about to. It's okay.
I always try to be formal, but I keep it Miss Tasha. But it's funny though, Tasha, because when you see a lot of artists out here, because what we've always seen, and we are, like I said, once again, we're not going to gaslight anybody, but we've seen situations with a lot of artists who, when it comes to it, one artist in particular, I won't say their name, but she's always been kind of chastised as that she can't sing live, and even though she had major success with her albums, but it's like, but that was always a knock on her, and I guess it's what you could call the insider, because I think we all know, but it's like, but she's always been chastised that she can't sing live, and like you said, you can only have the studio and everything dress you up so much before you actually got to go out and actually do it.
You have to show up.
You got to actually do it all natural. You have to show this is me. I'm not dressed up. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh yes, you have to show up.
You want that? It's like this. I use the whole homeless analogy here. If you hungry, you got to find your ways to go out there and get it. So
you better.
Right.
If let's say you don't have nothing to eat, you say you hungry, you gonna stand out of McDonald's and starve, because you're scared to ask people for food, or you gonna go up there and ask to get that burger. It's the same way with the music. Like you scared.
They say
this
you
game
scared.
ain't
This ain't for you. It ain't for you. They say a closed mouth don't get fed, so you gotta ask. You better ask somebody.
If you can't take backlash, or you can't take being mean, like a nigga just mean me right now. That's why I was quiet. And he put me on the page, and I'm like, okay, y'all gave me 60,000 new followers. Why? Thank you.
Thank you. Listen, if they ain't talking about you, ain't about shit.
I'm like, wow, this page got 60,000 followers, and I got 60,000 people just looking at me. So I said, okay, thank you for putting me in the ugly duckly file.
That's right.
I appreciate you. I send you a bottle of champagne, as a matter of fact.
That's right. I was always told to ride the brakes. If they ain't talking about you, baby, then you ain't about you.
What did Meek say?
Dude, that's the biggest hookup we got in a while.
Yeah, man. Look, we always have
congratulations to myself.
Look, we know how 50.
Pat yourself on the back, baby. Pat yourself on the back.
Look, Tasha, we always 50 like to mess with people. We're like, we hope 50 messes with us so we can get something from him too.
From who?
50 Cent, because you know how 50 like people all the
time. Oh, if 50 trolls me, that's
50
it right there. I'm quitting everything.
Listen, I'm gonna say this about 50. 50 is a Cancer. I'm a Cancer too.
I'm one too.
They're smart. They're smart.
And I'm an Aquarius.
He's a smart man.
So
he's a smart man. He's a smart man. And basically, if you ain't talking about him, he gonna give you something to talk about. Because he gonna run with it.
That's
true.
Open
up your mouth about him, he gonna run with it. And that's just what you got to do. I was told that by Michael Jackson. I was told that by Stevie Wonder. Talking about, baby, they ain't talking about you. You got to give them something to talk about. Even the record companies tell you that. We got to give them something to talk about. That's what you sit around and have the meetings about. What we going to give them to talk about? What are we going to stir up? What are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? You got to put it out there. Because, hey, if they ain't talking about you, they ain't reading about you, they'll never know about you.
What's the
exception
of J. Cole? What's the exception of J. Cole? The average guy, having an average style and an average personality ain't gonna really cut it. You gotta have some flavor about yourself. J. Cole happened to be gifted. He's a gifted artist. He was able to pull that off. But the rest of you guys, you better get a damn personality transplant.
And you do have to have a good personality.
Sending me NyQuil music.
Yeah, you do have to have a good personality. I can't with you.
Natasha, in terms of because listen, because you definitely have a very soulful vibe to what you do, and it's almost reminiscent of that 90s era. Pretty much when you go into the studio, what do you aspire for in terms of that particular, because everybody, like, in terms of, like, your producers that you work with, how do y'all pretty much vibe in terms of what you're trying to, what y'all want to do for that day?
I've always went in, and most of the time I actually know the producers, and I always go in and I just open up with, let me be able to tell you how I'm feeling right now. Because how I'm feeling, this is what I want to come off, on wax. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like your mood and all that, that's what music is. It's a vibe, it's a movement, it's all that. So that's what I do. Like, this is the way I'm feeling, and usually they're like, yo, T, how you feeling today? What you want to write about? What you want to sing about? And me, I'm going to talk to the person. This is it right here. They're like, okay, that's it. Let's roll with it, So that's me, and then I like to go in, always positive. But if I'm having one of those days, that's what I want to sing about. And, and I take my incense and, and all that, my own with me. And I just make it happen, I'm the type of artist that, things have to basically be tailor-made for me, so, because I get to people's souls.
Definitely. Now, in terms of artists of today, who do you really see in terms of R&B? Like we have, because we've seen somewhat of a, dare I say, a resurgence in the neo-soul movement, of course, with her, Janae Aiko, SZA. Who do you see right now is really kind of bringing that feel back to the game who's really doing it?
Wow. Yeah. Yes. Definitely her. Oh God. Let's see. I'm not so much of a female listener, but I would say Janae, her. My thing is I'm more like a male type listener. I love me some Eric Bellinger. I love me some. I'm on this Vito, Hank. You know, that's my vibe right now. Because I really don't listen to a lot of R&B because there's really not a lot of real soulful R&B like right now that I am actually hearing, and that's why I'm trying to be the one to bring it back if I can.
Right.
Well, like trap and B. It's more like trap and R&B. You feel me?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we hear. Yeah, we can hear you.
Y'all guys keep going in and out. That's all. That's why I keep saying hello.
Yeah, it's more like trap and R&B.
Yes. Yes, I would.
How you gonna
I would love to
harmonize and cook them bricks.
Now, I mean, there's nothing. I would love to do like tracks and put that R&B part over it. You know. Right. I don't know what it is. I don't know if this generation is scared to feel the heartfelt song. I don't know. But I would love to really be able to push that vibe and have the trap beat and do that, R&B. It don't have to be so much soulful that, you really got people sitting there all up in their feelings and they crying. It just has to really resonate and feel good. Allow music to feel good again,
I think it's a mixture of two things. I think it's people are just going by what sell because they feel that if they roll the dice, nobody wants to lose these days because now when you roll in the dice, it's like you probably lose 25%. And they figure, okay, we take that 25% and we can just put it in somebody else. Now, 25% is probably a label's 100% now. So that means if they roll in the dice, everything could fall. The chips could fall.
Right.
So they figure, hey, we're just going to go ahead and just sign 2 or 3 mush mouth, pill popper, skittle colored hair type dudes. Let's keep this ball rolling. They got to play it safe.
Right. I always say they're making the weekend money. We got a great artist right now will make us a couple of thousand, a couple of million this weekend. We'll get a new weekend artist,
I believe
and that's just how it's rolling.
Yeah, I believe there's a shift, though, because you're starting to see
there's a shift. There's definitely a shift.
Artistic visual type messages being displayed, just like Donald Glover, This Is America, which was a powerful message. And you have, what's that girl name? Ella May with Boo Up. So I feel that a lot of the youngsters want to hear good music with a message back. It just, the labels, they're scared to take that risk.
To take the risk.
We can't leave out Anderson .Paak either because Oxnard was a phenomenal album.
Oh yeah, Ventura. If you ain't get that album, y'all missing out, nigga. That album.
Yeah.
That album's in the whip right now.
Yeah. I say we just
Tasha
need to
Scott.
go
That's
back
about to be in the whip too. I'm about to put that in the whip after that.
Thank you. I say we just need to go back to taking the chance. You know what I'm saying? Take the chance. Take the chance on great music. Just take the chance and not just going directly to the outlets and just buying it. We want to be able to hear it played more on the radio and actually going to the great concerts and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, they need to take the chance again. It's just take the chance. Allow the door to open and take that chance again. Even though we know that music will, it's going to change, and we can't stop that because we're not here forever. And the new generation is they gonna make things happen. They gonna make it happen.
Oh yeah, they ain't gonna wait around. See, one thing I give this generation props for is they're not waiting around. They're not waiting around for an old head to give them a hand out of nothing. These dudes are creating these new opportunities.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And that's good. We did it. You know, we didn't have the outlet like, you know, what's happening, but we did it too. You know, we were hungry and we did it. And, you know, but I still feel like if they're going to do it, take the chance on the new artists, you know, because I feel like some of these young kids, they can sing, boy, they be singing, but then they get in there and they want to fit in, and then they change their style. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't do that. Just be that. You're magical, baby. Be that. don't try to fit in. You know, just do that.
Like,
yeah, I want to hear you because you got something magical about you.
Like, I don't want to hear a great value version of Chris Brown, my nigga. I want to hear you.
I want to hear you. I want to hear you. And, you know, and I was always taught, you know, don't go in trying to sound like that person and that person. Sound like you. You know, and that's, you know, that's the thing about me. I mean, I've been compared to people, but I have my own style, my own sound, you know? So we want to hear that. We want to hear you. We want to hear you. Be you. Be yourself. If that's what we talk about, be yourself. Then be yourself. Don't change yourself because you're trying to fit in. Be you. You're great. You're awesome.
Yeah, you create out of a different image.
Yeah.
You didn't create to be a clone.
No.
And the thing, and you know the.
Go ahead, T-Max.
Game. I said, and you know, the game
it gives you. Setting. You good now?
Okay. Yeah, but you know the thing about being an original is that there's no copy of anybody except the original blueprint of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I always stress to artists, you know, because this is where it gets dicey, and it's never hate, but it's always trying to help and support. In terms of your craft, you know, there is going to be those times, and I read this from a meme. I saved it on my computer because I just found it so enlightening, and basically I'm paraphrasing from it, but it's basically like you're just trying to get there. It's not there yet, you know, but you're feeling that you're coming into something, and you're trying to polish it to where you're trying to get it to go, to where it's presentable, you know, and as you keep going, then you're finding, you know, the placements in terms of what you're trying to push forward with. And I tell anybody, because the talent, if you have the talent, it's going to shine through, you know, but I also tell people, too, by the same token, know where your talent is in terms of, do you really have something legitimately that you can work on, or maybe it isn't for you? Because, I mean, you got a lot of artists out there, you know, that are not good. And it's like, you know, we had, you know, OG Spook from Rap-A-Lot on a couple of weeks ago, and he was giving us game about how, you know, a lot of artists be like coming in, and he'd be like, man, who told them they could do this? Say Spook is like one of the realists.
Right.
You know, but, but Spook was like, man, even if I have an open mic, because we always try to give lessons the best we can to our audience, and one of which is this. You know, because Spook, you know, he gave us so many gems, and one of which, because when he does his, you know, his showcases, his thing is, I'm not going to send you home with nothing. You know, if you need work, I'm going to tell you need work. You know, if you win, I'm going to hook you up with something. You know, but the thing is that, number one, don't be so desperate to get. I tell artists, don't be so desperate to get yourself out there in showcases where you fall on your face because you legitimately didn't have what it took, and then it sours your love on the music. Never lose your love for what you enjoy, but always understand if maybe, like I love hip-hop. It doesn't mean I can be a rapper. Now, I can write, but that doesn't mean that I can rhyme on a beat like that. And I'm older. And, there is, we just got to, keep it real. Rapping, singing, and all of that is something that takes time to really, you do have prodigies in the craft that are just naturally God gifted, talented, but you can't have somebody who's like 30 years old who ain't never rapped a day in their life, then decide they're going to be a rapper one day because they see all the young boys doing it. They trying to do it. Turn up.
Right.
Yeah. You have to have an understanding of where you're at, and where do you really understand the genre you're trying to be in, and do you understand what it takes to be good at it?
Yes.
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 And that's all. We just.
It's funny you mentioned that, man, because it's crazy how everybody's becoming a rapper now. Like, damn,
yeah.
I was at Walmart today, and I see the manager at Walmart talking about he was trying to rap. I'm like, well, damn, what's going on here?
Well, that's that turn of the century. All you got to do is push a button, and you can melodyne it. You can melodyne it, and you can make yourself sound good. But you do have to be true to yourself. Be true to what your gift and your talent. You do, because you just might not have it, baby. That ain't for you.
Yeah.
Like, man,
and,
that's like a different career shift. And see, we ain't talking. See, the part that gets me, just like what T-Max was saying, we ain't talking about dudes going off the managership, rapping like Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. We talk about niggas coming in, rapping like the Migos. And like, damn, you 40 years old, you about to pick up. Spent your 401k on a Gucci belt buckle and sign a record label. What's going on here?
And see this is what people don't understand. In terms of the music industry in general, because I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of artists, and a lot of them I can call my friends. Like Jeezy. Shout out to the whole CTE. Shout out to Jeezy and Ace. Jeezy was fortunate coming into the game because Jeezy had his own money. So he didn't really need anybody else's money, but Jeezy was also a tireless worker in terms of how he was able to really just, keep working and get it to where by the time, his major label debut came out, 101 back in 2005, because he had already released a couple of independent albums before then and a mixtape, but you could see Jeezy getting better and better because he dedicated himself to it. And he found his voice in terms of he was able to rap about something that a lot of people could relate to. But he had a gift in him, that he just had to polish. You look at Nas, who was just a rhyme prodigy. When, a lot of heads who have never heard, the main source, Breaking Adams album that was released in 1990, to our listeners, if you haven't heard it, if you want to hear Nas really at his rawest, when he first made his debut on, Live at the Barbecue, for those that may or may not know, that was, if you listen to Illmatic, that was, when he said, when I was 12, I went to hell for sniffing Jesus, that was part of that rhyme that he spit up there. But when you have a guy like Nas, it was just so gifted. You have Rakim, who dropped Paid in Full when he was 17 years old. These are artists that some of them, they work or they're just naturally gifted doing it. Michael Jackson with the Jackson 5. Michael was like 6-7 years old, and he was just straight killing it. I still look at them videos, and I'm like, And I'm like, this dude's voice control for that age was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
You know.
But you also got to look at the back. The back. The parents saw something in it, and they made them work for it.
Yeah,
they made them work for it, and they wanted it. You know what I'm saying? They wanted it also, and they said, "Oh, this is what you want. Well, this is what you got to do." They made them work for it. You know.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Now, do you guys think experiences play a key role? You think experiences play a key role in the in-depth writing process when it comes to create music? Because a lot of those greats, they experienced and seen a lot.
Oh yeah, I would say definitely. Yeah, definitely experience plays a big role. Yeah, that's where you get the best songs. You know. So yeah,
that's where you know the music cuts deep, because you can't really relate to somebody that you know what I'm saying? He's the offspring of a dad of a Fortune 400 company, and he get on the mic rapping about the struggle. You know that ain't authentic. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not authentic. No, you're just
not
you're
at all.
doing it. You're just doing it to sell. You're doing it to sell, and that's it.
Yeah, he rapping for the hood. He going back to Malibu. Taking the hood money. So people, at that time, you would get called out heavily for that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No faking the funk.
Yeah, a lot. But yeah, man. But I mean, it's a grind out there, and people got to understand. Before you hit the limelight, before you get the before there's a glamour and the glitz, there's a hustle and a grind.
There's a hustle and a grind. It is.
And a lot of times people just want to come in there thinking that they're just supposed to get it right away, and I'm like, no. When you look at Jay-Z, from Hawaiian Sophie in '88 with Big Jazz to when he dropped his first single, Can't Get With That in '94. I mean, before '96, when he dropped, daggone Reasonable Doubt. It's like, Jay had to get to where he was, in terms of, really getting his name out there. Nobody starts at the top. You know what I'm saying? You gotta work to get there.
No.
And he used to get so many times by so many labels when he tried to get signed.
Yeah.
That should create an inspiration right there. Like, these cats was rejecting Jay-Z, and look where he's at now.
Yeah. I mean, look, back in the day, Russell turned down Nas over at Def Jam. You just never know what an artist may turn into, for real.
Exactly. And you just got to stay true to yourself and do the work, do the work, and it'll come back around. When you're talented and you're gifted, it'll come back around. Just do the work. Do the work.
That's right.
But I'm doing my work.
We have a couple more minutes.
I'm doing my work,
we have a couple
baby.
more. Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, because I had that sound come on. It said, "Hey, you got 2 more minutes on the air." I ain't wanted to get cut off while we chopping it up real good. So, any other shout outs you want to leave, and you want to let people know where to find you?
Absolutely. First off, giving all my honor and all my love to my Heavenly Father in the universe above. To my beautiful mother, may she rest in peace now. And if I wouldn't be who I am without her. To Lamar Tribble, my guy, he's been with me. I love him to death. I thank him. I want to give a shout out to Vic. I want to give a shout out to G Holla. I want to give a shout out to Overtime Hustling Magazine, YVM Magazine, Certified CEO Edition. That's a mixtape that I'm going to be on 7 that's going to be dropping. And you guys can find me on Facebook at Tasha Scott fan page. You can find me on Instagram at Tasha Scott, a.k.a. Pink. And you can find me on Twitter at @TheReal_Tasha Scott. And if you can't, you forget all of that. As Tiana Teller says, you can Google me and everything wonderful and fabulous and magical that I have done will pop up. And go and get the EP. Tasha Scott Moonchild EP is out on all musical platforms right now. I know people like to stream. It's okay to stream, but support, and please purchase the EP. I couldn't do it without my fans. I love you guys so much. I love you. I love you guys for having me on. You guys are absolutely wonderful. You are magical. I love you guys. And I love all the other radio stations that I have been on and I've done. I thank you so much for believing in this. I always say it, this little star, this little Moonchild star. I love you so much.
We appreciate you, and the love is right back. And we thank you so much for taking your time to join us and for, being so energetic, engaging, enthusiastic, and, educating on the game, man. I mean, we really, really appreciate having you on. We thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. And, yes, this is for y'all. Y'all listening to Off the Cuff right now, radio station live with Tasha Scott, a.k.a. Moonchild. And I love y'all.
There you go. You can't get no better promo than that. But we definitely gonna stay in touch with you, and we're gonna have the replay of the show on YouTube possibly by this Sunday. So I'm gonna still hit you up on the gram, and we're gonna keep in touch.
Okay. Now y'all gotta hit me up on the gram. Y'all gotta tell me who y'all are, because I'll be like, who is that? I'm just supposed to like them. Okay, I like them.
Right. we ain't no filters either.
All right. Hey, that's it right there. No filters around here. This is all real.
True. That might have to be for part 2 of the interview.
Well, bring it on, baby.
There we go. That's right. Moonchild is out now. No bootlegging.
Yes, it's out
Go
now.
ahead and copy.
Go get that.
Go get it. Moonchild. It's out.
Yeah, get that right now. Be sure to check us out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Off the Cuff Radio. Follow Miss Tasha Scott on Instagram. Y'all know the protocol. Just follow through. So I'm about to be out for the night. Be on the lookout for the replay on Sunday. And I'll holler.
I holler too. Yeah.
We out.